So, is there a particular method that you find works best for an inexperienced investor versus an experienced one?
Yes, but they don't usually like this because I do recommend that they JV. I think that there's a lot of opportunities out there to JV. I think private capital is going to be heavily active this year, and if you have private capital and you want to mitigate your risk, I would recommend that you partner either with somebody that has a ton of experience in this space, or somehow get into a partnership of some sort where there's, people bringing capital, people bringing knowledge, and, maybe you're the glue that puts them together and you go after these opportunities. So, I think private capital, you know, they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket, nor should they. And the best way to do that is to develop these mutually beneficial partnerships where if you can find a good one, you just keep you can just replicate that deal after deal.
So, we've definitely talked about folks JVing and kind of looking at unique opportunities in the private equity and in the private capital space. For somebody who might be interested in doing that in the medical office asset class, what's your best recommendation? Because I'm sure you have unique insight.
Yeah. So so I think you need to work with somebody that has, let me see how to answer that. So unique insight. Um, I think my unique insight really isn't, you know, healthcare real estate specific, but I think being easy to work with and flexible
Of
would
course.
be, would be good. Coming to the table with, obviously you're going to say, hey, these are some structures that have been successful in the past, but listening to people that have done structures that are unique to, the specific asset class. So for example, there's one thing in medical office. I I think as we go forward, and it's always been there and it sort of waxes and wanes, but offering ownership to these physician groups, having a percentage, they're not voting members. They don't, um, they don't get a, they aren't part of decision making, but there's a percentage of ownership that they give for, and you can say you have to sign a 10-year lease or a 12-year lease, or, and for that, you'll get a percentage of ownership, maybe also having, piece of the ownership that they can buy into the, um, they can own more of it if they want to purchase shares. Those are some of the structures that I see being most successful. One, it keeps the stickiness of the tenant. Then they tell their friends. I mean, the success of a medical office building really is a tenant mix that, they want to stay there because if they leave, it's going to be more difficult for their patients. So, for example, if there's a family practice that has a lab and an imaging center that they use in the same building, or an orthopedic group that's in there, and they all, have sort of a referral patient base where it's easy for the patient. I think when you're getting into the mind of your user, you constantly say, they care about their patients. They're concerned about their patients. So if you're concerned about their patients and you help them, then you're going to be a successful healthcare real estate investor. But there's some knowledge that comes with that, and doctors, they are a little bit of a different breed. In fact, that some of the it's an intelligent group, but they have very little time, and so they want to know information, but they want to know it quickly. And sometimes you do have to let them think that they know more than you, and that's hard. When you get a lot of egos in the room, sometimes they don't want to play well together. Well, doctors had big egos, and if they didn't, they probably wouldn't be very good at what they do because they wouldn't be confident.
Yeah.
So, you have to understand your target market really well, and I would say be flexible and easy to work with that target market. But I have seen over the 20 plus years I've been in this business is if you can develop a relationship with a strong relationship, they stay, they continue with you. You know, if you buy another building and they need to open up another site, or they, you know, share the information with your friends, if you get a good reputation with this client base, you know, they're pretty loyal, and they can usually continue to work with you. One, because they don't have the time to really start a new relationship if they don't have to. I mean, if they have to, they will. But typically, if they can develop a good team of people that they know, they're going to stay with them.
Look, we've had great relationships over the years with investors who are physicians,
Mhm.
and I would, reiterate that's very true. They do not typically have the time because they're working in very high intensity practices,
Mhm.
and as long as you're delivering good returns, usually you're going to have a great relationship. A change of pace from the get rich quick gurus. Subscribe to the Real Finds podcast for in depth conversations with voices shaping the real estate world.